And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Welcome to this Wednesday's show. Up first, fire danger low out here to the west with all the rainfall we've had from the Alaska Peninsula right on up all the way to the western Arctic coast. Of course, drier conditions here to the east, and so about the central interior roughly here goes from medium to high to very high to quite an area of very high fire danger for grass here, actually from the Copper River Basin right on up into the northeast interior there into the far eastern Brooks Range. Extreme fire danger here just north of the Alaska Range, again for grass, and high to very high fire danger expanding here over the southeast coast with the dry conditions, warm temperatures there. And for spruce, a little bit smaller area here, but not much. Still very high fire danger. Upper Yukon Valley, Flats area, Tanana Valley, especially just north of the Alaska Range there. We've got extreme fire danger for spruce now in this area around Delta Junction, say those areas, and high to very high in the Copper River Basin there. And some high fire danger for spruce over the central, southern, southeast coast. Still low central and western interior all the way up to the Arctic coast. And for the hazardous weather, we've got wind advisory out tonight until 6 p.m. Thursday for the Alaska Range for winds 20 to 30 miles an hour with gusts to 45 miles an hour, again through tonight and through most of tomorrow. And from there, going to satellite imagery, still some one last batch of clouds moving across the panhandle here today, but really no precipitation associated with it, or I didn't see any other reporting stations carry any. Generally, just another nice day there. Light winds, again, variable clouds, some sunshine, temperatures 60s into the 70s in some areas. Copper River Basin, same thing here, partly mostly sunny skies, extending up through the eastern interior. Temperatures in the 70s this afternoon. Cooler and wetter back here to the west. Again, with all the moisture here moving northward, there quite an area of rain and showers here over the west northwest interior areas, extending all the way down to what's a weakening front here across Bristol Bay into Kodiak Island. That's spreading, trying to spread some light precipitation up into Cook Inlet and the Kenai Peninsula. And behind that, we've got there we go. Let me back it up to today. Starting to see the precipitation field increase here with a system back toward Kamchatka Peninsula there. Otherwise, the original low here over just north or near the eastern Aleutians front weakening here into the southwest interior, and a trough up here bringing a widespread area of rain from the western Arctic coast into the western interior, Seward Peninsula areas. Elam had roughly about 7/10 of an inch of rain today, for example, spreading into the lower and mid-Yukon River Valley area. Some areas of rain, scattered showers. Here is a little more broken up precipitation with this weakening front here, and steadier rain for Kodiak Island. Had some gusty southeast winds here at Alaska Peninsula into Bristol Bay, anywhere from 30 to 40, in some cases 45 miles an hour out of the southeast. Breezy, wet day Kodiak there, some of that spreading up into south central Alaska. Otherwise, partly to mostly sunny. Excuse me. Over the eastern interior, especially closer to the border you got, more sunshine you saw. And generally dry day with variable clouds over the panhandle. That band of clouds may have kicked off a shower or two, but again, that's mostly over toward the border and into Canada. And even there, not much of anything. Forecast for tonight, we've got periods of rain continuing that front, just really having a tough time moving eastward due to this high pressure area here in the south to north flow line parallel to the winds. And that'll actually push it a little farther inland. This area of moisture shifts eastward and starts to break up and diminish a little bit there, and that'll shift over toward the eastern Arctic coast for some showers there, drying out here back to the west, but more moisture pushing northward into Norton Sound there with this front, and that strong south to north flow aloft here, carrying it northward at a pretty good clip. And then the next system here now spreading some rain into Shimei and Attu, a break here over the central Aleutians, Bering Sea, pretty light winds. And the wind's pretty light now around this ever weakening low there just southeast of the Pribilof Islands. And for tomorrow, that low drifts northward, slowly weakens, and the front starting to break up here, but holds together enough for some areas of rain into the Kuskokwim Valley, maybe the western Alaska Range area, and then down across south central Alaska, kind of a cloudy, occasionally damp day for the Kenai Peninsula, Cook Inlet, and into mainly western Prince William Sound. Stays dry over the eastern and central Copper River Basin and north of the Alaska Range, Tanana Valley, 40-mile country, up across the Yukon Flats of the Arctic coast. Dry conditions there. Scattered showers with a weak trough swinging across the eastern Aleutians to the Alaska Peninsula, starting to end on those showers there for the eastern Aleutians in the afternoon. And rain, light rain, fog, and drizzle spreads into the central Aleutians with that next system. We'll see that pushes eastward. So light rain, fog, and drizzle for the Pribilof Islands, on down to the Fox Islands there into the western Alaska Peninsula. Wind's really not much of a factor, nothing more than 10 to 20 miles an hour at most. A little bit of a break, drier conditions, but still a lot of clouds, low clouds and fog for the Aleutian southern Bering Sea. Next system here, pushing some more rain eastward into the far western Aleutians from the Komodorskis. And now back to a chance of showers covering much of the central and western interior areas, and even progressing a little bit farther to the east there. Some of this will probably be thunderstorm activity as a weak trough swings down around this thermal low over the Yukon. Sunny and hot over the Panhandle, about sums it up there with light wind conditions. Maybe a few clouds to keep the sky interesting there. Otherwise, lows tonight, 50 to 55 for the Panhandle, and also 50 to 55, much of interior Alaska. A little cooler, Valdez, Seward, about 49. Same thing for Kodiak and Dillingham, lows around 49, followed by highs 75 to 80 in the Copper River Basin there. And otherwise, 50s to near 60 here for south central Alaska, Manauskas, Susitna Valley into Prince William Sound, upper 50s Kodiak Island. Upper 50s to lower 60s, call it 62 at King Salmon, near 60 in the Kuskokwim Valley. Panhandle, not bad, upper 60s to near 80, especially up here near Haines and down over toward Ketchikan again, Stewart. Otherwise, a lot of 70s for tomorrow, 77 for Juneau, followed by lows, mid-50s for the most part, mid to upper 50s Copper River Basin, and lower to 50 to 55 south central Alaska, upper 40s for the Bristol Bay area, and Kuskokwim Valley and Kodiak Island, followed by highs, mid-70s, a little cooler now Friday for the Copper River Basin, but still pretty nice there, and highs 55 to 60 again. Can't seem to get out of the 50s here for south central Alaska, at least for very long, and upper 50s Kodiak Island, and in the 50s, Bristol Bay and the Kuskokwim Valley, highs in the Panhandle, 70 to 80. And up to the north, lows in the 50s, lower 30s there in the central Arctic coast, and about 40 there for St. Lawrence Island, followed by highs 75 to 85 here over the eastern interior. Eagle looking at close to 85 tomorrow, Fort Yukon about 80. Fairbanks 76, cooling considerably here as you move west into the clouds and precipitation. Mid-30s for the central Arctic coast, otherwise 60s here over the eastern North Slope, followed by lows in the upper 50s east, upper 40s west, and 30s near the Arctic coast, and highs upper 80s, 87 at Eagle and 83 Northway and Tok, but Fairbanks back down to 70 as that moisture starts to progress eastward, clouds and increasing showers, so that's going to keep it closer to 70 there. Mid-60s central interior, 40s and 50s back out toward the Bering Strait and the Seward Peninsula. 40s for the lows for the Aleutians and Bering Sea area. Highs in the 50s tomorrow. Nikolsky might be at 48, followed by lows again in the 40s and highs out there 45 to 55.